A lot of people ask mediums, do you believe in God? Do you think the messages that you get come from the divine? And I would say yes, they definitely do, but it depends on what your idea of God is. I think, for me anyway, God has changed as much as I have in my life. As a little boy, I was made to attend church and Sunday school where I was taught about God and that he had a son, Jesus. So I had a very Christian idea of what God was, this fatherly type of being. When I reached an age around 21 and I started to develop my mediumship, I did so because a good friend of mine, her brother actually died, and he appeared in my bedroom the night he died. And it was the first time as an adult that I'd actually seen a three-dimensional spirit appear in front of me. And it's a memory that never leaves you because it's not like a dream. It actually happens. And the whole room changes when a spirit actually appears. It's hard to describe in ordinary words, but there's an atmospheric change and it touches you right in the heart. And this is how I know when people are telling the truth about experiences they have with spirit, because the real stuff isn't just a vision, it's a happening. And therefore this happening of seeing my friend's brother appear in front of me, smiling, wearing a tartan shirt, jeans, tight curly perm as we had in the 80s. Not a good look. Next thing, he disappeared through the floor. And I thought my heart stopped. But I thought, wow, what was that? How did that happen? Why did that guy appear here? I knew who he was, but I didn't know him that well. I knew his sister. Shortly after that, I had a real sense to put my radio on, which was beside my bed. I did so. And there was local news saying that there had been a terrible fire in the street where my friend lived. Somebody had died in the fire, and it turned out to be her brother. At that time, I asked my friend, can I do something for you? Is there anything I can do to help you? And she says, will you take me to see a medium? And at that time, I didn't really know what a medium was. I assumed it was somebody who had occult powers, that they saw the future, that they had all sorts of weird and strange abilities. But I found out that there was a church, a spiritualist church in Glasgow where I lived. And I took my friend along there to see a medium. I was shocked that this church conducted itself in the same way as the Christian churches I was brought up in. That they prayed to God, that they sung spiritual songs, and then the medium came and gave messages to people. And I thought, this is strange, because I hadn't really looked at who God was in my teenage years. And this was the first time I'd thought about God again. The medium incidentally turned to me that night and said, excuse me, young man, do you know that you're a medium? To which point I looked behind me. I thought she must be talking to someone else. And she said, you are a medium. And she told me that I'd seen something that I was to tell my friend. I hadn't actually told my friend that I'd seen her brother because I thought that made me look crazy. And I didn't know how to explain it to her because she was grieving, she was sad. But here was this medium telling me something that actually happened. At the end of that particular episode, the lady said to me, I would like you to go into development and develop your gifts. So I did. I went to a training class every Thursday night, sat there for an hour in meditation. I had no idea what was happening, but I would see things, feel things, hear things. All sorts of strange things were happening to me. And my mind kind of opened up to asking all these different questions about who is God, what is God? And I needed there to be a God because I needed there to be an afterlife and a heaven. So I decided that God existed, and I decided that God was in charge of this heaven, that he, and it was a he, that actually he was looking after all these spirit people who went into the other side. And then I wondered if God was actually a ploy, a plan, something we had invented. I was taught when I was young that God made man in his image. And it all of a sudden dawned on me, actually no, man made God in his image. We made him a man. We gave him a face. We gave him long hair and a beard. We gave him this look. And I thought, wow, we actually made God. God exists because of us. Wow, he did not create us, we created him. And that was an interesting thought I had for a while. And it upset a lot of people when I would say it. Oh, you don't believe in God, how can you be talking to spirits? And then I realized that spirit is just life force. I thought, oh, your spirit is your electricity. It's your power. I thought, that's God. But God's not an individual. God is everything. I thought, wow, I like that idea. God did not knowingly go and create all of us. God is part of the creation and he's growing with us. And I thought that was really cool. And again, it frightened a lot of my friends who were very religious because they thought, oh, you're mucking around with God. Don't play around with God. That's dangerous. I thought, but how can it be? God's not hateful. Men are hateful. Yeah, but God could hurt you. God does things to people who don't believe in him and stuff. I thought, well, if you don't believe in him, he can't really hurt you because he doesn't exist. So many thoughts would go through my mind at that time. But what I did realize was God actually, as a life force, as a power, as me, as you, as everything, can exist. But he doesn't need to be controlling the way we've given him that power. God actually doesn't need to be the head of everything. God needs to be the heart of everything. The part of us that makes us good. The thing that we're all aiming to grow towards. That God is not an actual individual being. That God is in every individual being. Not just people, animals, plant life, anything that has a glow, an aura, a life force, a light body is God.
Hat dir dieses Video gefallen? Gib uns ein Zeichen und lasse einen Daumen nach oben da. Bist du interessiert an weiteren solchen kostenlosen Videos? Dann abonniere unbedingt unseren Kanal und drücke die Benachrichtigungsglocke, denn nur so stellst du sicher, dass du kein weiteres Video verpasst. Danke dir und bis zum nächsten Video.